That's the old version.
I
This is the
thought
newer
we
version.
moved to,
This is a newer version. It
this
doesn't include the
motion is
stamp.
related to measuring sound only.
Oh, we've moved off of that?
Yeah.
We got off the
Yeah.
stamp.
I don't have it.
Yeah, you do tonight.
No, I don't have,
Yeah, it's in your packet, right here. What are you reading?
I'm reading right here. I don't have it.
Article 16. Right in here.
Yep.
Article 16.
Yeah, you got it. There it is.
You're
That's
looking
the
at
new
your
one.
old
Oh, I'm
numbers.
looking at the old one.
And this
Okay.
one references the Mass General laws. I believe, was it?
No.
No,
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 it doesn't.
excuse
No,
me.
I-
Just the penalties, just the penalties.
I just still feel that they have the tools to do it.
I believe the town council is still reviewing this, to bring forward an appropriate
Right.
article, because right now, all this is a placeholder
Right.
Right.
for a bylaw on
Right.
it, but
Right.
there's no substance
Right, so-
per se to it.
I just don't see the need, if there's a state statute on point, why we need a redundant local bylaw. Seems to be a belt and
Yes, I
suspenders
would agree
approach
with
if there's
Mr.
something
Mr. Delaney.
already on the books that can be enforced.
Jeff's got a,
Gentleman in the rear.
Okay.
And
Bill McGarry, 170 North Street. I spoke last week, 2 weeks ago to you gentlemen, and appreciate the fact that the EPA sticker seems to have gone off of the ordinance because of, again, as I mentioned last time, it's truly something that's fairly unenforceable and difficult for police officers to look at. Was on a poker run this weekend and had the pleasure of speaking to a police officer, a motorcycle police officer who blocked for us so we could safely leave the parking lot. And on his Harley Davidson police special, you could not find the EPA sticker either. So if that sticker ever rears its head again, probably something that we should look at. I had a whole list of reasons why you should vote to take this off of the town warrant. Somebody put a letter to the transcript 2 weeks ago that hit the nail on the head. It's a Massachusetts law. Obviously, the chief and his officers have the authority to enforce it. The letter referenced headlights. Do we need a bylaw to regulate that everyone has to run with headlights? Do we have a bylaw that says everyone needs an inspection sticker? It seems like you're wasting a lot of time on something that's a law. We need a bylaw that we shouldn't, I don't want to be facetious here, but there'll be no armed robbery in North Reading. I mean, it's a law. You can't speed on a posted speed limit area. The police enforce that because it's a law. It seems, and from the research that I had done, and I could be completely off base, but have gotten a lot of feedback that we can't make a law that's more restrictive than the state because it's governed by the Registry of Motor Vehicles. So there is a law. So if we want to have a bylaw in a town meeting and have people vote on something that's already a state law, you know, why don't we put 200 warrants on there and just reconfirm that we agree with what the state of Massachusetts is in favor of?
we have some like that already.
Thank you.
We do that on a regular
All
basis.
right, so
but I
where
don't
are we
know.
with this? Let's move on.
I would say just leave it on for now. And again, and I'd like to hear some feedback from the chief and the department as to what we can do to implement some enforcement action, and then if we deem it appropriate, remove it
Pass
from the
over
warrant,
to
pass
town
it over at town meeting. And town council is also drafting something which would be would fulfill the wishes of the board to have something in
I
place.
can support just making a recommendation at town meeting.
But if nothing else, it's certainly highlighted in the local issue. So.
Haven't heard from Jeff.
Yeah, I did want to say something. One of the big problems with police officers have is they have a multitude of laws that they have to enforce. That's a lot to do. My concern here is twofold. It's not all encompassing. I think sometimes we in government have an opportunity to take an issue, which is noise, and really look at that issue and begin to evaluate law that we can implement that will address something that will affect everybody, not just a specific group, and not target a specific group. So I do have a concern on that. Duplicity is an issue as well. I don't think we need to have more laws on the books that say the same thing. So I'd be in favor of not having this as a town warrant at this time, though I think the intent of it is very good.
Mr. Chair, I would move to remove Article 16 from the warrant for the October town meeting.
I would second that.
Motion made by Mr. Delaney, seconded by Mr. Vino.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
the majority of this board is going to remove it, that's fine, but I don't want the issue to die. I still would like a report back from the police department as to what we can do in the form of enforcement, and, by October town meeting, or whatever, so that we know what we need to do moving forward.
Mr. O'Leary, I agree with you on that front, and also if it needs to be a capital expenditure, I'd like to know what that would be.
Right, let us know what it is.
So the state law can be enforced.
So just because we're taking it off, if the majority's going to take it off the warrant, the issue doesn't disappear.
I don't
We have a tendency to lose this.
I don't disagree with you on that.
I guess one of the things we're asking for then is to identify what the cost of a noise meter is, and then we could decide on whether or not we want to invest in the appropriate equipment to put in, to have at the police station or to put in each vehicle. Okay, on the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
Article 16
Article 16 is gone.
is gone, which will cost some renumbering, I would guess.
That's why Linda's here.
Article 17, amend the code, add general bylaw, chapter 107, marijuana.
Is that how you spell it?
No, it's with a J.
Several
It's
different
with a
ways
J.
you can spell it.
This is
Depending
the,
upon what you're smoking.
this is the state spelling of
That's
it,
the
according
state
to
spelling of
Barbara.
it?
So much for our
If
literacy
you
up at
note,
the
though,
state
that
level.
in parentheses, we have the other spelling.
And just technicality, this would now become Article 16.
Right.
So,
The Article
should I,
16.
I'll change it on here as well, I presume? Okay.
And the intent of this article is to prohibit public consumption of marijuana and related substances in the town of North Reading. The proposed bylaw would establish penalties for violations and be enforced by the police department. And this is all related to the recent state law decriminalizing marijuana and the town's intent of preventing the smoking of marijuana in its public places. We've asked town council to review this, and maybe some additional changes if we go forward with this. So I'll open it up for discussion.
Chief?
Let's start with Mr. Vino. He's
Yeah,
going to
I,
ask a question of the chief, I bet.
No,
No,
no, oh, no, I'm
oh.
not, no, I'm not, no, I'm not. I was one of the board members who was in favor of this. I'm not saying the board is not in favor, but I was in on the original discussions. After they decriminalized marijuana within the state, I actually received a number of calls from residents asking, could something else be done to discourage it? And at that time, I said, I don't know. And then, at that time, I don't think this was actually in place at that time. And then this came along, and this is another deterrent to, for smoking marijuana. That's my feeling on it. I am in favor of it. I am dying to hear from the Finance Committee on why they do not recommend it. And I certainly wish somebody was here to answer that, but of course they're not, so
I think that may be,
I just,
hoping that's a misprint.
yeah, I hope that's a misprint, but I know, I mean, in all seriousness.
Maybe it explains why Mr. Jones is no
Yeah,
longer
in
on
all
the finance
seriousness, if that's not a misprint, I would like to hear from a Finance Committee member at some point, and I'm
Mr.
sure we will at town meeting.
Mr. Jones is a,
Some input.
Not being a member of the finance committee, I'm disappointed in hearing that. But I would suggest that they perhaps have no recommendation because there's no financial impact and/or.
No, it's says not recommended, Mr. Jones.
It should be addressed.
Well, it
No.
could also be a
Yeah,
misinterpretation.
it could be a misprint, but it says not recommended.
I got it, but I didn't find it.
Okay. But that's
That's what's going on.
what's going on
In
the
the
warrant.
printed
Can we just hear from the chief as far as the enforceability and really the need for it?
No, but I suspect it's the financial impact. They're not.
Chief Nolan,
The, like any town bylaw or Massachusetts statute, the police department will enforce those particular laws as we're confronted with circumstances that warrant the enforcement. But the board has to be informed that there was a recent U.S. Supreme Court, and Sean probably knows about it, the recent Supreme Court case that came down that attaches some concern, and actually it struck a nerve right through law enforcement across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And where if a person is appearing in court as a defendant in a marijuana or any kind of a drug case, for that matter, and the defendant objects to the certification of the lab test, then either the case has to be dismissed or we have to bring the lab technician in. And it's uncertain as who's going to be responsible for paying to have the lab technician inspect them in. In reality, you probably won't see a lab technician come in for possession of marijuana cases. You'll see them come in for other distribution cases and so on. However, I think it does give the town an alternative to set a standard that is something that is not tolerable within the community, within the public domain of the community.
I agree.
So if it's on the books, we'll enforce it.
And Chief, I would agree with you in summarizing the recent case law that came down. But more importantly, regarding this bylaw is civil in nature, not criminal, so the standard is less. So is there going to be less of a likelihood that any challenge to not having the chemist come in and do the analysis on the narcotic would probably be given less weight by a judge than if it was actually a criminal matter and a different standard involved. I think it's an important bylaw to have. And just to clarify, the state did not decriminalize the possession of all marijuana.
Yeah, no,
They decriminalized possession of less than 1 ounce
Less
of
than 1
marijuana.
ounce.
So
Thank you.
the general public isn't
You're
out there
right.
saying, you can have a
Go grow the
neighbor with
backyard, yeah.
5 pounds of marijuana, it's not a problem. That's still a problem. So just to clarify that.
You're correct, Mr. Delaney, thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Hugh,
A couple things. With regard to the noise law compared to this law, are we not exceeding, would this not be deemed as exceeding
No,
the state law?
no.
No? Okay.
No, this is over and above. This is a bylaw you can
What
pass.
state law did, Jeff, was that it decriminalized the possession of it.
Right.
It did not speak to the consumption of it. This would allow local communities to
But
deal
if
with
the-
that issue.
But if the state says they can have that, okay, all right. I'm sorry, I understand.
State is silent.
I understand, it's just,
Consumption.
it's the consumption, it's the
Civil
consumption, right.
possession.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No, the other thing that I had, in the last meeting, I had inquired as to the visibility of someone doing it on private property, but they are visible. You can see them smoking at that point. And I just referenced a case that I recall where a woman was in her backyard. She had fences and everything, but she liked to sunbathe, okay? And the kids were peeking through the hole. Well, and I forget where this happened, but what happened as a result was that she was forced to adjust, okay? And she was on private property at her home, and she was forced to put her clothes on, so to speak. All right, so my question here is, if you're walking down Main Street and somebody lives on Main Street or Park Street, and they're sitting in their yard on a lounge consuming marijuana, can that be addressed? There are, if someone lived across the street from the school, for example, any of the schools, and they're sitting in their yard and they're consuming marijuana, okay, is that?
Mr. Nolan.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna hedge my bet a